consolidated approach.
I mean, I would point out that we had a long-range financial plan discussion for this budget year also.
Right.
Yes.
And the decision of this board at that time was to allocate only $250,000 to
And we're
hours.
changing that now.
Yeah, now we're, yeah,
So
so I
it's-
mean, I think I appreciate Trustee Rozek's looking for use of existing resources and not increasing taxes anymore to fund that.
This decision to change the funding level that came tonight was based on several discussions, and staff had the chance to go back and look at how that would relate. So, previous to my comment, or related to my comment on the previous motion, and I feel even more strongly now, is that I appreciate the proposal to make these changes, but acting on them in one meeting, especially without the department head who's responsible for that commenting on it, I think is stepping out of the process.
Well, then I would suggest that Mr. Manuelson attend the entire village board meeting. If we're unable to make decisions without Mark being here, then maybe he needs to be here for the whole meeting.
And I just want to add that this 46,000 is not allocated to anything. So we already have a general fund reserve, or a capital reserve, or whatever this would fall back into, that we budgeted for. So this isn't like taking money from parks that we budgeted for. This is an unallocated money, and we're looking for money to not have to bond for it. So
You're going to be borrowing now, you're going to be making a borrowing decision next year.
Yeah.
So at that time, if you want to use $357,000 of reserves at that time, you can. So I
We don't
mean,
have
you
to
have,
do that
and you look at it as a big picture, and maybe you do want to use all reserves.
So this
So-
isn't available for,
So it could be,
is this available for 2017? This money, this 46,000?
of course it would be. But the question is, you should review when you borrow, you have a borrowing plan. Like, we're going to do a short-term borrowing in September or October for the refuse trucks. And then we're going to do an 18 borrow for our major projects. So all I'm saying is if you want to, at that time, when you do your borrowing plan, your next borrowing plan, you can use as much reserves as you could have that all
As the board
discussion.
decides.
So why do
Already
you need to
decided.
do it now, though?
Because I'm worried that the alley funding decision will happen before that discussion, so to bond for it. Because
It shouldn't, but
that's my concern.
it shouldn't. I understand your concern, but it shouldn't.
Okay.
Because Mark and I talked a lot about that really maybe we do want to use reserves. Maybe at the level next year, maybe we do cut off, the board cuts out these projects. The board does this, maybe we want to use this much reserves. But it is just, I'm speaking for Mark, that he would say he'd rather do it on a holistic basis rather than piecemeal. That's it.
Okay, we have a motion, we have an amendment to the motion. Take up the amendment. All in favor of the amendment?
What's the amendment?
I thought we had a motion. Yeah.
Can you
it's
just remind
seconded.
me what the
Oh, okay.
amendment is?
It was to add to the original motion, with the remaining budgeted 46,000 being reallocated to fund alleys.
I want to say one more thing, didn't we just do that with the 200,000 that was left over from a road project? That's the same exact thing as reallocating the 46 now. It was money that wasn't going to be spent on a project that we thought we had budgeted more for, and we reallocated it. I don't see the difference, and I'm sorry that I had to make that comment.
That's a good comment.
I'm sorry.
I mean, it's the same thing.
No, I don't think it is the same thing. It's not the same process. That wasn't suggested tonight and acted on tonight. That was discussed in previous meetings, gone back, thought of in context. And again, if you were, what's that? So I disagree that that's our role as trustee. I think it's great to come up with ideas, but to come up with them and act on them tonight, I don't agree with.
Actually, the extra bond proceeds, this was the first we had been presented with that as a funding opportunity.
Actually, it was, right, the exact
No,
number.
it has never been presented as an opportunity. This is the first
This is the
time.
first time I've heard of it.
I
They
disagree.
reacted.
It was presented, it was offered as a possibility, and that's why staff was gonna go back and look at it. An exact number wasn't suggested.
I'm generally uncomfortable, as we go through any approvals of buying things or spending money, if we know that there's going to be a little left over because we know that we're going to be able to do it under the budget. I just don't agree that we should do that on a case-by-case basis as we go along. So I would like to take a vote on the amendment right now. So, all in favor of the amended motion as stated, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay.
Okay.
What was that, 4-3? Who said nay? So it's 4. And you what?
I said yes.
You did? Wow.
Okay. Now what that takes us to the original motion. Should we get this wheel loader?
Jeez, I thought this was just gonna be a quick one.
Yeah. So all in favor of the original motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We got a wheel loader.
President Johnson, may I ask that we have a 5-minute recess?
Sure. Okay. That takes us all the way to page 2.
All that way.
Consideration of the RFP for village manager recruitment services. You got a memo in your package with this item, and included in your package is the proposed RFP. Motion would be to approve the RFP for the village manager recruitment services. And I asked anybody if they had any questions to contact me, or we'll hear about it now. So,
I move to approve the RFP for village manager recruitment services.
we have a motion second, any discussion?
I just have one question. How would, what fund does this come out of? Is it just general or to fund the consultant?
There's a probably come out of general, what's the word I'm looking for?
Reserves.
General
General
reserves.
reserves?
It's a one-time deal, so,
So we're using general fund reserves to pay for this?
yeah. Unless somebody has another,
Well, I was a little surprised that it wasn't addressed in the board item as to, it's not budgeted, correct? This is not budgeted, so it's an unbudgeted expense. And there's been such reluctance to use general fund reserves, and we've discussed using savings from purchase of the loader, and people are so uncomfortable with that, so I'm just curious where the.
it's a one-time expense, so. That's really what, does cause reason why one would use general fund reserves too, if it's a non-budgeted one-time expense. Any other discussion?
You don't think there has been a pattern of being resistant to using general fund? It's just using general fund for capital expenses?
Well, everything, pretty much everything is funded from the general fund, other than the library fund or the debt service fund or the other
I
fund.
think you meant general fund.
Oh, reserve.
Reserves.
Do we know the dollar amount? Is there like an up $2? Is there a contract dollar amount?
Don't really have one, but talking with other communities, I would say we're probably talking 25,000, so maybe we should be talking 30,000 in our minds, but it'll probably be in the 25,000 range.
Can we set a budget in the motion?
It's just an RFP, though. It's not,
Yeah, it's an
we
RFP.
would approve, it would come back to approve the
Oh, okay.
contract.
Yeah,
All right.
we're not spending it here, we're just going out.
They're gonna be between 8,000 and 28,000.
I'm just saying, sometimes we put it in there, the like the budget for the service in the RFP. We don't have to.
We'll let the market take care of that. And this isn't something that, that it's probably something that the amount of money for it is not going to be necessarily the reason we pick a firm either. it'll be a lot of other reasons too, such as the quality of the firm. And we'll see when we get proposals back.
We're talking, sorry, Mark's not here, but in our purchasing policy, we talked about upon selection of professional services over a certain value, but we would just record why, the rationale of why that, what criteria we use to select that. It could be that it's cheaper, it could be, but just putting that in the memo. I just wanted to bring that up because we were discussing that in the purchasing policy.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion as stated, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Next item, Strategic Initiatives Committee, Trustee Zovic, discussion of Wilson Drive.
Thank you. There are two items that are in your packet just for information purposes. We discussed them at the committee level. The first is